Nicola Badalana from pixiehill.com with a new project for my friends at Gypsy Soul Laser Cuts. I'm making wee winter cottages, which are cute as can be. Assembling these is quite straightforward, but I do have a few tips to share to help make your work easier. A pair of small, very sharp scissors, or blade, is a great tool to separate the pieces. Because we're working so small, making these cuts clean and quick will prevent damaging the little elements. I'm removing the door from the front of the cottage to make painting easier. Apply tiny dabs of white glue to the edges and assemble the cottage walls to the base. Be sure to clean up any drips or excess globs, as they will look quite big on your tiny building. I found that adding the window frames and then painting is the easiest way to deal with these tiny elements. Make sure your work surface isn't cluttered when cutting, as these little pieces can become easily lost. Using a pair of needle nose tweezers, dip the frame into some white glue. I dab off the excess onto the back of my hand, and then I put the frame into place. Using the tip of the tweezers, I clean away any excess glue. With all of my windows in place, I paint the whole cottage white. If too much paint gets into the window frame, I clean it up with a toothpick. To paint the window frames, I place my brush almost flat against the surface so that it only catches the raised area of the frame. I'm almost dabbing the paint on rather than using long strokes, so that the paint doesn't get caught along the edges but is applied to the surface. Next, the door and the roof pieces are painted to match. When the door is dry, I push a straight pin through it. The head of the pin will be my doorknob. I push it almost all of the way through and then add a drop of crazy glue to the backside to keep it in place. I snip off the long pointed end of the pin and then glue the door into place. Now to add the roof pieces. Glue the pieces into place and then apply chipboard shingles. If you'd like a bit of variety, the tiny shingle sampler from Gypsy Soul Laser Cuts will give you enough to do 3 cottages with 3 different styled shingles. Once dry, paint. I'm going to set my houses on top of cut wooden rounds. I apply a layer of glue and then a sprinkling of fake grass or green flocking. I set my house on top, slightly to the side to allow room for some trees. I twist the base off of the bottom of some little bottle brush trees and then decide where it will be placed. With a pointy tool of some sort, I create a hole for the wired trunk of my tree. This space is tiny, but I want to add a second tree here. To give variation in height, I cut the trunk of this tree to make it smaller. Then I trim the bristles to expose the wire. I mark where the tree will go and make a second hole. To keep these trees firmly in place, I'm applying a drop of instant or crazy glue. White glue is applied to the edges of the roof and atop the grass and on the trees, and then a sprinkling of fake snow is added. You'll find fake snow under names like buffalo snow, flurries, and frosty snow. And if you're debating on how much to buy, a little will go a long way. I've had the same bag for years and I've got loads left over. For final touches, add tiny sweets and candy canes, snowflakes and charms, whatever little things you can conjure. The full supply list for this project is available at the blog linked in the description. And remember, if you've been inspired, make sure to tag me in your magnificent creations. I love to see the things you make.